good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. True Blue Tie here from Thailand. How are you doing? Started Cap. Welcome to Wednesday in Thailand. It's one put, as they say in Thai. So I hope you're doing well. And it's another not transfer, for instance, the daily tele chat about Man City or what's going on in the last 24 hours. Always very interesting to find out what's going on at the City because it never sleeps, but also it never sleeps. The pain never seems to go away, And for instance, when we're winning, etc., it's lovely. For instance, because we have the pain of what's it called? The fact that we went on the pitch and we can just sit there and laugh. And what's it called? But when we're not winning, etc., it just drives you crazy. For instance, because you got to listen to the constant about City, for instance, and just waiting for this 115 thing, etc., to be finally over. It's like, oh dear me. It's like having an operation. It's like, I don't know, waiting for like the worst bad news, or which could be bad news and good news, and you just don't know. And it's just, guys, it's supposed to be the international break. You're supposed to be able to, away from the football, but you can't because you got to sit there and wait for the next bull crap, which is going along. What next media outlets come out with an attack on Manchester City for one X, Y, and Z. And United fans will say, well, they get an effort, but they bring on them bloody selves. Man City don't bring anything on themselves. They say, we just get attacked because we're Manchester City. Simple as that. It's just pure jealousy from other clubs. I was looking at Disney Talk Crap yesterday, for instance, and I saw their YouTube channel, for instance, and the YouTube thing. It's got a picture of Talk Sport, and it's got a crest of United. And I thought, if that doesn't tell me what they're all about, for instance, what does? How come they don't have crests of other teams in their team? Because they have a Man United podcast in Talk Sport where they talk about it. And the reason why is because they've got so many Man United fans who are presenters working for Talk Sport, Talk Crap, whatever. So, for instance, and it's just, so that's the reason why they can do it. They must have got together and said, oh, well, let's have do a podcast of Man United, la, 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 la. Why don't they want Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, who knows, Man City, forget about that. But no, let's just talk about, we're a London-based team. Let's talk about United. Yeah, well, there you are. With their, I've got it written down. At least 10 presenters at Talk Sport and Man United fans. So, and then you got the other diggers. I've got White and Jordan with Stephen Burson, for instance, trying to fight the City corner. Oh, he's not fighting the City corner. He's just talking sense. And it's waiting for this. Oh, what do you think? Oh, what do you think, Stefan? Jim White, and oh, what do you think? And is it going to be? Is it dropping this week? La la la. But what I've noticed, there's a certain degree of, again, well, from what I was saying yesterday, for instance, it's the fact that from why Sky Sports has told its Neville and Carragher to shut their gobs. It's pure and simple because I don't think they're quite. For instance, I don't think the outcome of what everybody thought Manchester City were going to be. We're going to be found guilty. We're going to go get relegated, or the trophy's going to be ripped off us. Blah blah blah. But maybe because of FFP, whatever APT, maybe it's not going to go as well as the Premier League think, and for instance, in the way they think, maybe Manchester City are not guilty. Go! Wow! Could you ever believe that? Would you ever think that Man City might not be found not guilty? Oh my God! It's just unbelievable. Holy Buddha! How can you ever think that Man City could be found not guilty? Oh, no chance! No. So, and it's just hilarious. The fact that now there's a sort of creep in the back of their mind, thinking, maybe Man City just gets done on compliance. If that's the case, Man City have won, but the Premier League will spin it because they know, for instance, if they come out here badly, they are toast. Master Dick and his mates are toast. Lord Panic was in the House of Lords yesterday, for instance, looking quite sharp and talking about a few things. So, so I think he looks a bit confident to me. But and in fact, there's no reason why he shouldn't, because again, for me, I've always said from the start, I've always believed I thought when I listened to LB and a few others, and well, I don't know whether. I always believe that Man City have done nothing wrong, nothing. And the reason why is like, for instance, it's a business deal and different deals that, for instance, in what's it called, which has got nothing, and it's not corrupt. It's just a business deal, and maybe the business deals have been a bit. I won't say shady, but it's like all business deals. You maybe get somebody for nothing, etc. Like it's, maybe it's a give and take and a get one and two, but nothing in the what's it called, out and out corruption. And it's pure and simple. It's because it's Manchester City, and it's pure and simple. It's because it's the Middle East, and it's pure and simple because it's a pure dislike for the Middle East by the establishment in the United Kingdom, and pure dislike to Manchester City because by the Red Cartel is because we're winning and they ain't. Simple as that. So screw 'em. Anyway, so let's move on. So I'm just going to talk about. I'm going to come up to one thing. Some at the moment. I'm just looking at what's it called? Our players have gone off and doing interviews now. For instance, so I went to I did a who's gone where. So yesterday, Edison was chatting yesterday, which is always interesting because again, for instance, he was on one of our departure lists for the summer. See what like I hope he doesn't go. What's it called? But everybody's convinced he's going. So, but you never know. We still haven't received a bid from Saudi, and I thought he has also, but he also still hasn't signed his new contract. So is there a contract on the table? I believe there is, but I don't know. Anyway, so what he's been saying is that this is a different season for us, especially for those here longer. A season out of the norm, especially after everything we've produced over the last few years. A very difficult campaign, a lot of injuries, individual performances haven't been good, but the football but the football, but that's football. Sorry, you're not always able to give the best of yourself. Football is a team sport, and if 11 isn't working, then you have to do to be adjusted. That's the process we're working on thoroughly, with more lows and highs, and we've had more bad moments than good this season. But even in such a typical season, we're still in top five and trying to finish top four to qualify for the Champions League. We have zero chance of the Premier League this year, so we have to fight for the Champions League qualifications and, of course, the FA Cup. Interesting. For instance, if somebody was leaving, etc., you'd probably say something a little bit different. I don't know. You just kind of like, it's we're working together with, gestures, everything. You listen to the same thing from Kevin. I listened to the same thing from Phil. And so I don't, there's a lot of, again, we don't know what's it called. And because we don't know what the hell's going on. So, but I don't think it's not as bad as what people think, but I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll stay. I hope so. I hope he'll stay. Anyway, so I'm going to just because again, for instance, we got a lot to talk about. Well, not to talk about. I'm still waiting for the Champions League crap. But in the meantime, etc., I've actually gone through what's it called? How many points we could earn between now to get Champions League? How many points we can earn, and my estimate on the other teams as well. Who for instance, in the Champions League, who's going to finish. Now, I've put on Liverpool is going to win it, of course. Arsenal finishing second. Okay, and it's not a given because again, for instance, Forest could catch him. So what's it called? But I do believe, for instance, Arsenal will finish second. Okay, so let's go third, fourth, and fifth. Who's going to get that? Who's going to get that? Now, for instance, I have actually to summarise. I put Liverpool to finish top, Arsenal to finish second. Forest have finished third, and I've calculated Forest's points. I haven't bothered with Liverpool or Arsenal's, but Forest have put 70 points, okay, with what they've got left over. So, for instance, I think, okay, let me just go through my, where did I put it? No, I knew I'd close it. I think Forest could get another 16 points on top of what, with the remaining games, so that would leave them on 70 points. I think Man City will be fourth with 67 points. I think we will get another 19 points. Now, okay, now I'm not being oh, true blue, blah blah blah, whatever, But I do believe, we have the remaining fixtures. Well, let's go with the rest of them first, and then I've got Newcastle to finish fifth on 65 points. Brighton to finish sixth on 64 points. Villa to finish seventh on 61 points, and Fulham to finish eighth on 55 points. That is what I'm thinking. Now, when I'm saying about what's it called, Man City's fixtures. Now, the next home fixture we got a Leicester, and if we can't bloody beat Leicester, then there's an issue with us, for instance. So it's 3 points there. Then I've got the Rags. Now, I think, for instance, we'll do it right or wrong over there. For instance, I don't think it will be like a 4 or 5-0, blah, 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 maybe a 2-1 or 3-1 for Man City. But I do believe, for instance, we've got enough. I know people are saying, well, United are in form. Well, who the fucking hell they're playing? What's it called? And also, they're also in Europe. So, for instance, and that crap. So, for instance, but I do believe, for instance, Man City will go there and be better than them. For instance, and we're right or wrong. So that's another 3 points. Then we've got Palace at home. And even though Palace are a difficult team, for instance, I do believe, for instance, we'll pick up the points there. So that's 9 points. Everton away, right? I'm going for a point. So, for instance, I don't, Everton are playing well, but I just don't think they're not going to cause us. Yeah, I do think, for instance, they're not as they might drop off a little bit. I just don't think Everton have the what's it called? They're not as they'll survive, whatever. But I just think we'll be able to go to Everton and get a point at least. Villa at home. Now, according to LB and people is actually saying no chance. Man City, no chance against Villa. Playing at home. Villa in the Champions League. What's it called? Whether it'll be out by then. But I just do believe, for instance, we'll have the Stones, to beat Villa. I get a point against Villa. At least I get a point. So that gives us a point. Then we go to Wolves. Okay, and Wolves could cause an issue. I think, for instance, we'll pick up the points there. That's another 3. Then we got the Saints, for instance, who are doomed, dead and buried. That's another 3. And we got Bournemouth at home. What's it called? And maximum, I think we'll just say a point. And then we got Fulham for the last game season away at Fulham, which we pick up a point. So that's 19 points. Okay? So that's the reason why Man City will finish on 67. Now, Brighton, for instance, because, again, I put on Newcastle to fit 64. Brighton's in it. I don't think Brighton, I think they'll finish 64. I think they'll pick up an extra 17 points. Okay? Which that will put them on 64. Brighton, they got Villa at home, 1 point. Palace away, a point. Okay, because isn't that a bit of a derby over there? What's it got between them two? Leicester home, 3. Brentford, again, tough one, point. West Ham home, 3. Newcastle, as long as they're not on holiday, point. Wolves away, 3. Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool on vacation, home, a point. And then they got Spurs away, and I'm going to give them 3 points. And that's 17 points for them, but I'll bring them only 64 points. So, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17 points. Right. And then I'm going for Newcastle to finish in 5th position. So Brighton will miss out on Champions League. I've got Newcastle who pick up an extra 18 points. Now, they've got, what's it called, 65. Now, I've got Brentford. They've got Brentford at home. So I'm going to go for a point. Leicester away, 3. Rags at home, 3. Palace at home. Say I'm going to give them a point for that. Villa away, I think they might lose that one. So they got nothing. Ipswich at home, 3. And then they've got Brighton away. I've got a point there. And then I've got Chelsea at home. I'm going to give them all for that. Arsenal away. So I'm going to give them nothing for that, maybe. And then we've got Everton at 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 18 points. So they'll have 18 points. They'll pick up 18 points. So yeah. Forest, I'll have that. They've got Rags at home. So they'll have 3. Villa away, point. And at home, 3. Spurs away, 3. If I'm doing then I've Brent away. Sorry, Brentford at home. I'm going not. I might put in. What's it called? I've actually put. I actually could beat them there, so I've actually given 0. I don't know why. I just nothing ever goes according to plan. And then you got Palace away, point. Leicester at home, 3. West Ham, 1 point, and for a Chelsea at home, 3 points. So that's the season. That'll stick them on 70 points, more than enough to probably secure third place. So that's that. So yeah, the rest of it, what's it called? You could say, well, what about Villa? They'll only pick up another 16 points for me. They've got what's it called? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so I think they'll only pick up another 3 points. Southampton, for them, they'll get 3. Fulham will get 3. Spurs will get 3. Rags will get 3. City will get a point. Newcastle will get a point. Forest will get a point. Bournemouth point. And Brighton they'll get a point as well. So that will only give them 16. So hopefully Man City's a result. There's no reason why, the Rags was good because again, for instance, we're playing for the Champions League. So for instance, I don't reason why we can't turn up against the Rags. Palace at home, come on, Villa, and again the fable of Bournemouth maybe, but other than that, for instance, we're in Fulham at last game of the season. But I think, for instance, we'll hopefully we'll secure a Champions League place. But I'm just going for 67 points for Man City to finish the season. I'm finishing 4th. So, and hopefully she was going to the final of the FA Cup. But that's what I'm going for. So that is me. Versus what are you thinking? Are you like me? Are you a bit more confident, a bit less confident about where we're going to finish, how many points we're going to finish? So, anyway. I'm going to leave it for today. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Again, for instance, I'm going to be up all night watching, waiting. Somebody said it was going to drop at 5 o'clock in the evening yesterday, English, UK time, which is around about midnight. Okay, so for instance, I was up waiting, and it never happened. And so what's it called? But I did think it was going to be on Tuesday, for instance, so Wednesday, which is today. So, but still not happened. So, anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. True Blue Dye from Thailand. We'll find out what to talk about tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be the 115 and Man City's won. That will be amazing end to the season. For instance, it will, and it will qualify for the Champions League and win the FA Cup and and do a really good job at the Club World Cup. But we'll see. But we'll see. Yeah, but it's. Let's see what happens today in the next 24 hours. Two Blue Eye from Thailand. I was going, thank God for rice whiskey. I tell you right now in Thai. You had to calm my nerves. Guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Two Blue Tie from Thailand. Sorry, cat.